Welcome everybody, SF Live here on site. We are in Beaver Creek and I'm joined by Chris Wright and Cavey of Defiance Silver, and we're going to catch up on the latest news. They recently put out some fantastic drill results from their project in Zacatecas, and we're going to hear from Chris what they mean for the company. And gentlemen, it's great to see you. This is only the second time we're meeting, because we met in Vancouver like last week for a coffee for the first time, so this feels like the first proper project talk, right? So how's the conference been going for you? It's good to see you. You've been meeting with a lot of people, I guess.
Yeah, it's been a good conference. Busy. The attendance is great. It seems like a good crew.
Yeah, it is actually. It's quieter than expected. A little quieter than expected, I think, but quality is there. People who wanted to be here are here, I think. So lots of good meetings. Like, tell us a bit more about the landscape of investors or people here attending the event, and the meetings, of course, you're having. You don't have to go into specific names, but give us a cross-cut.
It's been, it's been a pretty good mix, across the, it's some industry guys, analysts, investors. So it's been, we're a day in, so we haven't run the gamut. But looking at our schedule going forward, it's going to continue to be a really good mix across the board. Yeah,
one thing we haven't really seen in the sector is M&A. Like, it's been really quiet, a little smaller transaction. Do you see a lot of corporates here, like on the agenda? Is that a thing?
We do have a number on the agenda, and I think the interest is legitimate. I think that they're really looking to try and source some good projects to throw into at least their prospect pipeline. So.
Okay. Yeah, let's dive into a bit of the pitch that you're giving these investors as well. And of course, big part of the pitch is the recent drill results. And I actually fired them up here so I don't misquote them, right? But some of the highest grades you've drilled at Zacatecas so far, was it 21 meters of 144 grams pure silver, or 179 grams silver equivalent. Run us through the results, and what do they mean for you?
Well, I'm not a technical guy, right? I'm a finance guy, so Doug can speak to the actual results. But from my perspective, it's nice to see good wide intercepts, good grades. It's really proving out the technical team's thesis in terms of proving up the resource, expanding that. We're going deeper. The resource envelope's being expanded quite nicely. So I think it's all playing out, according to what the original thesis was. But it's a very systematic and pragmatic approach to this. So it's a step-by-step process. Every time we get the results back, the team dives into the data, they model it. It allows us to then go pick our next drill targets with a much higher level of confidence. And we've been drilling since December of last year, and it's really panning out nicely. I honestly think that the technical team is hitting the ball out of the park. Yeah,
let's talk to the technical guy here as well. Doug, it's good to see you again. Run us through the results. You released a few, I think it's 3 holes that you released in that release. Run us through them, and what do they mean to you as the technical guy on the team?
Yeah, well, I'm it's just a cog in the wheel of the technical team. There's an outstanding group of people that we work with down in Mexico, and hats off to Jen and Stephanie and Armando and Miguel and everybody we've been working with. We really like these because we've got about we've been doing a lot of modeling, as Chris said, so we've got about a 90% hit rate on the vein structure. That doesn't mean that we're hitting mineral every time, but we're hitting the vein structure where the bulk of in this property's mineralizations come from. And we've always had this two-pronged thesis. You need to have a cornerstone of a solid resource, then you can go for the district scale exploration, which we have over 20 kilometers of vein strike length that we've never drilled before. So this does really anchor our understanding of what we think is very practical development targets. You're within a lot of existing infrastructure. We're testing below existing mine workings. We're testing below the resource estimate. As Chris said, we're getting good vertical zonation on expanding what is within our resource grade cutoff of the current resource estimate. And we're 200 plus meters in some places below that resource estimate. So seeing that continuity, seeing the grades still continue at depth, is showing us that there is this our thesis that you can put together a cornerstone resource estimate that is mineable is working out, and then that does support us going and stepping out into some of the more district scale targets on the property.
Yeah, fantastic. Let's talk about how you're planning on following up those results, and how do they factor in the next resource update? Like, how big of a part are they, and how are you following up on them?
Well, they will be a big part of the next, any type of resource estimate or any part of the resource update. But what we've been looking at more than what the resource update is, where are we in the mineral system? And then where can we go in that mineral system to build out on that? And fingerprinting ourselves in the mineral system has been very important. And that's what the excellent work that the technical team has been doing. And And really what the crew of Jen and Stephanie and Armando and Miguel, what they've been doing on site has been showing that this is a strong system, that there is a very defined elevation to the mineralization. We're getting a good understanding of where we want to go and where you don't want to go. Yeah. And so not just throwing drill holes into places, sticking to our thesis that this is where we're going to put that cornerstone resource development potential, and then that is gonna guide us moving forward. And like I said, we've got 20 kilometers of vein strike length that's never seen any drilling before, and we'll be going and drilling that out. So we've got about 2,500 meters left on the 10,000 meter program, and that's dominantly focused in the main resource area, if not all focused in the main resource area. And then we have permit applications in on the rest of the district that we've put together in the last year and a half. We would like that, or as Chris said, we're looking in this sort of perpetual drilling scenario right now. So we're 10,000 meters in the resource zone. That's not going to give us a huge resource bump up. We do need to focus on what's the next step, and this was just getting the doors open, figuring out where we were, finding our feet in the system, and then going and advancing through with that.
Before talking more corporate, I just want to follow up real quick. Like, what kind of centers will you need for that resource update? Like, because you mentioned it's vein drilling or vein targeting. Yep. Like, what kind of centers are you looking for to get it to a decent resource category?
Yeah, that really depends on the qualified person and what type of resource geologist or engineer that you're using. And there's a number of different ways to determine what's an inferred ounce, what's an indicated ounce. And what we wanted to do out of the gates was put together a geologic model that we could test, so we can give that model to an engineer and say, this is our model, this is where the vein is, we've tested the vein, we have confidence that we can hit the vein when we say we're going to hit the vein, and we think that will factor favorably into including the grade that we've come up with into a resource estimate. And we've been working with resource engineers since basically day one of the drill program, so start before the drill program with the resource engineers, don't get into the drill program and bring them in. So they've helped us and say, this is a good idea, this is a bad idea, don't do that, do this, and we've really taken that guidance to and followed up with the drill bit. I think that you're seeing that happen right now in the way that we're drilling things out. The other thing that we've been focused in on is testing some of the old stopes and testing some of the old workings to find out if there's any in situ mineralization that exists that wasn't pulled out by the historical miners. So when in the end we want to figure out if we can go underground, and we want to figure out if we can drill underground, and is there mineralization that's still available that's we consider low-hanging fruit.
Okay. How many holes left in the lab? How many essays are pending?
We're almost all to date. We have one hole that's left in the lab, and again, we still have 2,500 meters left in that drill program, so we'll still have a pretty steady flow of information coming out in the next 6 months.
Fantastic. Chris, let's jump back to the corporate side a bit. And you raised money just before the summer.
We did.
Great timing. Fantastic timing, because the summer was just god-awful, right, for everybody in the market, because it's just a big slump. How much is left in the kitty, and how are you planning to spend the rest of the money?
Yeah, we had we've had a really bumper year in terms of financing. We started off last September. We had a very successful raise. We raised $10.5 million. We topped that up with another $11.5 million in June, which, you're right, timing was, I don't know if we're good or lucky, but either way, we hit the top of the market. And we've also had a number of warrants that were exercised throughout the year. We brought in another $9 million in warrant exercises. So we've all told put about $30 million into Treasury. So the company is in the best shape that it's ever been, from a cash perspective. We still have about $19 to $20 million left in the Treasury, so we're fully funded for all of our work for the next couple of years, and we have a lot of flexibility. We can accelerate, we can expand the drill program, so it's really going to be driven by what the technical team sees and really where they decide that the drill bit is leading us. So right now, as Doug said, we've got 2,500 meters left on this program. That's going to, the drill's going to be spinning in later this month. The permits are pending on our Lasita or El Palenque land package that we picked up from Pan American last year. So as soon as we get those permits back, there'll be another drill on that project as well.
Yeah, it'd be good to see a couple more zeros added to the remaining drill meters. Turn that into a 25,000 meter program or so, or
as Doug said, we're in perpetual drill mode. So that telling people that we have another 5,000 meters, 10,000 meters, I don't think that's necessarily accurate. We're going to keep drilling. This is all about adding ounces. Yeah. Our primary focus is returns for the shareholders and building value, and that's how we're going to do it, is just add ounces.
Yeah. Do you have a bit of an overview in terms of timeline when you expect the next resource estimate, potential PEAs? Can you give us a bit of a rough guidance on that? Well,
being the corporate finance guy, I'd like to see it tomorrow, right? But, but the technical guys, they need to do what they need to do to make sure that it's solid, and that any estimate that we put out has to be a significant enough increase and change that it warrants the effort and the cost to do it. ultimately on this primary resource package, we're looking at a minimum 50 million ounce threshold, and with the hope to expand that to 100 million ounces in the camp. So we're working towards that. I think, from my perspective, the results that we've seen so far, we can start to see that outline start to be imaginable, and now it's a matter of giving the team the time to go and fill that data in, so we can actually put that out. So we're definitely looking into next year, and hopefully in Q1 or Q2 of next year, I think was what we're hoping we would target.
Okay, cool, perfect. We've talked, because of the drill results, we talked all about the Zacatecas project.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the other project as well, Tepal, real quick. What's the corporate focus there? Like, what's the intention of moving that project forward?
Full intention of moving that project forward. Really, the ultimate goal is to make it a legitimately shovel-ready project. It is an advanced project. It does have a pre-feasibility study on it from 2012. PEA was last updated in 2017. It is a little outdated from a commodity price perspective. It was using $12.50 gold and $2.50 copper. It does have a lot of sensitivity to commodity prices, so if we even were to run it again today with more current commodity prices, it would increase the value dramatically. But again, the goal is to get there, but there's more work to be done, so that we're not just simply updating it for commodity prices. There's more drilling to be done. The team has been actively remodeling the entire project and have found some really, really interesting paths for us to pursue and get that lift from a resource and grade perspective, not just a commodity price perspective.
Of course. So you might be upgrading the resource as well, updating the PFS or just the PEA. Like, what's the plan there?
I think the easiest thing to do is update the PEA, but again, it's it's going to be led by the technical team. I don't want to make presumptions, about what we're going to get out of the program. So I'm following in this regard here. So.
Well, you're following somebody, right? Like, I have a lot of respect for Doug. I've known him for a number of years. So maybe you run us a bit through that. Like, how are you planning to upgrade that and add value to Tepal there?
Yeah, once again, I just it's the technical team that is working on it right now. Stephanie and Jen and Armando, who have been grinding a lot of data. It's a data-rich project. It's been around for a long time, well-known asset. There's a $27 million database, 60,000 meters of drilling. So you can imagine it's a lot of, alongside with the active drill program at San Nicasio, it's a lot going on. Stephanie's done a tremendous job remodeling a lot of the project, and so we're looking at this, what can you do for adding ounces to the back end of the proposed mine life of the project, so years 5 through 10. So what kind of exploration and development, or exploration basically, can we do in the main zones that are well-defined conceptual pit boundaries? You have PFS number, so you have NSR value per ton on the rock that's in there, and where can we go with that in terms of an exploration to build out the back end of the mine life? But then what does the 5 to 10 year exploration plan look like? And then looking at those district scale exploration targets. So there's a lot of heavy lifting going on right now behind the scenes with that project. It's really, as Chris said, we want to demonstrate the shovel-ready economics of the project, and not just the exploration potential, but in a way we still are looking at the exploration side of things, and we're still kind of coming at it at an exploration angle in terms of our technical side. Whether we're going to update the PEA or whether we're going to redo a PFS on the project, that's really going to come down to what our 1 to 3 year exploration program has been there. There is a case for doing it for the money or commodity price economics, but I don't necessarily know that that's going to give you the true value if you're going to go and redo it. I think we should combine some of the recent work that Stephanie's done in remodeling some of the system, where we're going to look to build ounces onto that, and then include that into the PEA. So you're actually making a more impactful technical study that includes technical work, geology, more resource and tonnage, and then a commodity price increase. So that's going to be a higher impact technical report.
And Chris, from a corporate perspective, you're planning to do that all yourself. You're not planning on bringing a joint venture partner in, or even selling the project, just keep an NSR or something on it. That's all planned in-house at Defiance.
Right now that's the plan. The reality is, look, we're in this, as I said, to maximize shareholder value. So all the options are available to us. We think that there's a lot of value to be unlocked in the project. We acquired this project at the end of 2018 through an acquisition of Valora Resources. We did sort of catch the bottom of the market exactly, and this project has a history of carrying a very significant value. And it was, Geologics, when it was, when the predecessor owner of this project back in the last gold bull market, had a significant market cap north of $200 million. So there's a lot of value to unlock there. But when the time is right, we're open to any option that's going to maximize shareholder return.
That makes sense. Let's talk about catalysts now for the company as well. Next news flow items, just to sum it up and put a bow around it. What can we expect coming out of the company next? One hole pending, I know. What else can we expect in terms of news flow?
Well, the drill program drill's going to start turning again, so we're going to see some results coming off of that again, and I think that it's really just a matter of executing on the plan that we've already put in place and continue to do that. So Santa Casio, 1, then 2 drills turning, so you'll start to see more regular results coming out of that. And to Paul, depending on when we're able to get over there, then get some work done there and get some results out of there.
Fantastic. Chris, it was great to see you again in person, and Doug, of course, as well. And thanks for joining us and updating us on what's happening at Defiance. Fantastic.
Thanks for having us.
Everybody else, thanks for joining us. SF Live on site. We were joined by Doug Cavey and Chris Wright of Defiance Silver, and we got a great update on what's happening in Zacatecas, but also at the Tipal project. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button here, and follow us for more content. Thanks so much.